this evening. This is the start of our gaming weekend. Actually, we usually play Spaceperium, or at least develop the game further during the weekends, and starting Friday nights and into Saturday, all day Saturday. So we'll be playing games today. Later on, I'm gonna do this brief broadcast, then have some dinner, and then come back and a little later, probably late night. I got to take care of the missus, and then we'll come back and do some games. I'm going to do some World of War and warships, and I'll be looking into the Steam and looking at some other titles there. Um, and I'll probably start one of the games that I purchased quite some time ago. We downloaded it but never got started into it. So we'll see how the evening goes. But right now, I want to talk about investing in Spaceperium. As we are moving quite along with this game development, it brings up the opportunity that for some of you to get involved in the game as an investor, someone who's going to come in and contribute to this game and get something out of it. Now, what I have for you is a way for you to put in money, but it won't be dependent on the game per se. And I'll clarify this. I do a lot of other things. One of the other things I do is real estate. So I have the ability to take your investment and put it into real estate, you see, because in Spaceperium we have a developmental part of it that's going to have real estate. It's going to have properties. There's actually going to be real physical properties belonging to the game, Spaceperium, and it'll be used for different purposes. As some of you may know, Spaceperium is first going to be developed as a LOP. As a matter of fact, right now the LOP is started. We are actively recruiting game masters right now, and the game masters are going to be learning the LOP and the streaming part. It's basically the same thing I'm doing now, probably what you see me do when I have the ship here and all that. They'll be learning all of that, but also they will be developing the LARPing game part, because that is the active part at this point, along with some of the game play that you see me testing and developing here on wherever you're watching this from. So we do have a real estate interest, and since that is a more physical thing than like just the game and our aspirations for the game, etc., etc., I think that by you investing through the real estate that we have, it would be a better and safer investment for everyone involved. So that's the decision that we made. So right now, there's an opportunity for you to invest in the game, because the properties will be used in the game and will generate income. But your income, your return of investment comes from that real estate. It's not dependent on how fast we get this game out and how fast we develop the video game or anything like that, even if it becomes popular or not, stuff like that. That you don't have to concern with yourself with that, risk. But it's safer because you're actually putting it into something. It's an asset. It's really real. It's physical, and it's easier to make sure and ensure that you're going to get and realize a return of investment. So although I can't use these airwaves right now to give you the details of that, I just want you to keep a heads up on that, that it is going to be a real estate based investment, for you. And that with the investment, if you invest the full amount, which will be between ten to $17,000. Now, with the caveat, I'm going to tell you, if you don't have that amount and you still want to invest, you can, but you'll have to. It's better for you to join as a game master. See, so the game master is you have a $995 a month level. You have a $495 a month level, and you have a $99 a month level, if I'm not mistaken. These three levels that you can come in as a game master, and you can get started. There's a lot of other benefits and return of investment as game masters, plus the fact that you get participate in the game. You have automatic ranking as a commander of the ship. There's a lot of money that you'll be making out of that, so you might as well do that. So if you can't afford the straight on investment between 10 to 17,000, then do the game master thing. Might as well. There's only one in each area, so again, you have to act quickly. If you're going to do something, get in early because it's like the same. It's like Bitcoin. People who got into Bitcoin early, they got in when Bitcoin was a few satoshis, when it was only a satoshi, and now look at it. Even when it's having its issues, but still, I mean, goodness sake, $7,000 from the little Satoshi, which was a minuscule part of a penny back in the day, a few years ago. So listen, again, it's always good to get in early. So yeah, so we do have these spots open. It's a limited opportunity in terms of the investor, the 10,000 to 17,000. How much is it? Is it 10,000? It depends on what you want. There's a difference between the real estate investment from the 10,000 to the 17,000. So that's really it's up to you. We will sit and talk and we'll discuss that. But in either case, if you do that at ten to $17,000, you're looking at $1,000 per week as a return investment, and that is based on rentals. So yeah, it depends on rentals of the units, but it's real estate and it is a rental and it's money, in your pocket when those are rented out. Again, what does that have to do with the game? Because it has to do with the LARPing part of the game. People playing the game, they're going to be going out and renting those units. So we need those units, and you can invest in the units, and that's how it works. So if you're interested in something like that, then we can talk about that. If you don't have enough to do that, then become a game master, and then you're in because you will make money. And in this game, as a game master, you will make money. Right now, the regular player base is not open to regular players yet because we don't have the game masters who are the ones that will be making everything work in your local area. So we do need the game masters. So again, if you don't have enough to invest in this game, to take part in this game as a full-fledged investor, then you can come in as a game master at any one of the lower levels. So that would be a great idea for you to do and have a great return of investment because those who are doing the 10 to 17,000 investment because you're investing in a rental unit. It's like a very cheap Airbnb or very cheap vacation home type of rental business. Where people make money when people stay at the homes that they have. You don't have to buy a whole house. You just have to invest the 10 to 17,000 in the units that we are using for our LARPing experiences. And that's how you participate in the game. You'll be making money from the game because the people playing the game will be paying you this rental fee, and you realize your return on investment. Okay, so that's basically how it is. Again, if you're interested in this, just follow, share, like, and keep in contact, at least knowing where we're at, because I'm going to announce in a future broadcast how to get involved in that investment opportunity. And of course, you don't have to wait. You can be a game master, get in as a game master, and then you will be on the inside and know everything when it comes out and when it becomes available, and be the first one to know about that and get involved. Okay, so that's about the investment thing. We have also, we're developing in the artifact part of the game. Artifacts are being incorporated into the game. It's a wonderful part of the storyline. It's also a great income producing program for anyone who has the artifact. So there's a couple of artifacts. When I say a couple, I'm saying easily a few hundred. All the artifacts are different in the things they convey in the game for the game players, as well as the for the owners. And again, we are going to be announcing a virtual artifact hunt. Excuse me. A virtual artifact hunt, which we done on on your computers, where you will be able to go and have at your own experience of hunting down the artifacts. And we're going to be developing the story for you so that you understand what's going on. And also, and you'll get like 100 chances at finding the artifacts. Since there's a few artifacts on a property, on the land, and they may be at sea as well, depending. The story goes that these artifacts came through a time portal, and they came showering, raining down in different parts of history, in different places, whatever. So the hunt is actually you go, and this will be done in real life as well as the virtual. You go and you actually hunt out virtually or in real life at a real location, maybe where the rental units are at. Who knows? You will hunt out these artifacts. Now, what the artifacts convey is income. They convey a source of income that through the game players, through their play, they will need the codes, and the codes are only available on the artifact. And there's a minimal charge there, a fee that they would pay in. And the issue is that we're talking about many tens of thousands of players. The LARPing phase is expected to have 1,500,000 players. So if you have an artifact and we have 1.5 million players and they need the code, what does that mean? They have to pay a minimal fee, minimal things, not a lot. And I think the top is like $5. But if you own the artifact, even at a dollar, let's just make it a dollar, 50 cents, no matter, a dollar, and you got all this 1.5 million players that need that code and go pay that dollar. How much is that? Because they have to pay you if you own the artifact, because you're the one that has to send them the information. They don't have the artifact, you have it. So that's the value, and that happens every year. It happens, every sporadically throughout the year. Throughout the year, periodically. I shouldn't say sporadically because it isn't, but it happens throughout the months of the year, and then the following year, of course, the code they had for that for that moment, or for that ranking from last year is no longer valid each year that goes on because it changes. So because it changes, they need the code again. Or if they get the code again, they'll have to get it from you because the information does change actually. So it's a flexible. A lot of the codes are in flux, so they change. And so they need to do it again. They need to send you the dollar again. So if you're a owner of a what they call it, the permanent artifact, that means on a yearly basis you can expect to see income coming in from the 1.5 million players nationwide every single year. There are other types of artifacts. If you're playing the virtual artifact treasure hunt, artifact hunt, I don't know for treasure, but artifact hunt, there will be other artifacts that are temporary artifacts, or they are regional, or a more restricted artifact, only at times when the artifact will be activated and it will spring into the gameplay and then produce the income. But even when it's the smaller one, I mean, it's obviously it's enough money, more money than you would expect to have received again by any other method or means, especially from any other game. But and so that's one thing about that, and I'll be explaining more about that when we do actually that show for the artifacts. But the cool thing about about the virtual treasure hunt and the real treasure hunt. I keep calling it treasure hunt. It's an artifact hunt expedition on both sides, virtual or the real one, is that automatically when you purchase your admission, your entry into this artifact hunt expedition, you will automatically receive a one of the temporary artifacts. The temporary artifacts is a restricted artifact. It means that it has a very short life, and it's designed to really make back the money that you put into having access to the artifact hunt in the first place. So it's like getting something make sure that you get your money back, so you don't lose anything. You go, you pay the fee to get into the treasure hunt. You pay the fee for the virtual one, or you pay the fee for the real physical one, and then you you go and then you start hunting for the artifact. The real hunt, and when it's done with the real on at property hunt, you would actually have to travel to one of our properties, and physically there are physical artifacts on the property. The thing is, you have to find it, and all the ones you find, you get. Okay, there's always going to be a permanent artifact, so you have a chance of getting the permanent artifact, which again is year to year to year to year to year to year. All the players will get your code once a year. So you're looking at a permanent yearly income basically from all of the players, and that includes in the future when we do the video game, it includes them because the LARP game, the first phase, there's three main phases here. The first phase is a LARPing phase, and that phase is limited to 1,500,000 players. Okay, and we're just talking about the U.S. I'm not including any of the others, but just talking about the U.S. Then, during the later part of this phase, there begins another group, which is the military. it will start as part of the LARP, and many of the guys in the first part will move to the military after replacing their own prior position. So we're not losing the 1.5 million LARPers here, and we're just adding now this other group that is military. And so then that boosts up everything. Still, you have a permanent artifact; it still applies. So you have even more players then. How many it will bump up to? I can all the 1.5 million can move into the military if they want to. They just simply have to replace their position, fill their position. So it could double. The maximum it could be is probably a doubling, with the caveat that at that point, when the military is first populated by our prior players, new players can come in. The military will be more open, it won't be restricted. So new players can come in, okay, and qualify to get into the military. That's another thing. It gets more complicated then, but the point is, bottom line, you can double. You can see double the amount you did in previous years. But then, after the military, the real physical military is established, and soon thereafter, we're going to release the video game. The video game should be developed fully by then, and it'll probably be first released as a military game. In other words, as a fighting game, space game, right? And so, given that, those players too will have the same invitation to get involved in the ecosystem, the financial ecosystem, and they will also then be added to your yearly recovery of your investment in terms of, at this point, finding the artifact. Artifacts are also sold, by the way. They will be sold on eBay as artifacts that you can purchase. The game players can purchase them as well. So whoever gets them, there's a limited supply. They're released on a limited basis, and whoever bids the highest will get that artifact and enjoy those benefits. Usually, only the permanent artifacts will be given on offered on eBay. The other ones we give them out depending on gameplay and other crusades and campaigns that we may have, and at the events where the players come in live, and they can easily get a find an artifact, as we say. So those who can be permanent ones, but there's also many of the temporal ones or sporadic ones. And sporadic artifacts are those that from time to time they are activated, and it's randomized. So at any point in any time, an artifact can be made active all of a sudden. And then what happens if you're the owner of the artifact of a temporal one, of a sporadic temporal one? That means that if out of the blue moon, you start getting a request for the code, and that will happen like in a big blast, and then disappear because your code will last for a while, right? Maybe a day. It's activated, so, and then everyone who's playing that day will see the code and will act and do something, like send you the money, and then the next day it will not be there. So in terms of the code, so you get a burst of action of money that comes in for the code, orders that come in, and they're not required to buy it quickly, but they have to, in order to progress, they have to get it. So you get the initial bursts, and then it starts waning day after day, blah, 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 as people wait for their paychecks, or until they get paid again or something like that. Things happen, So you can probably get an order a week or even a few weeks later after the after release. It's just that's just the fade off after the code came alive for a day. And then it's random. You may have another one during the year, may not, because it is randomly selected, the sporadic codes on when they can occur. So once you have a sporadic one, you have a sporadic one. It's really, it's like it'll be randomly chosen. That means that you can get it twice, 5 times, 10 times on a fluke, or just get it once during the year. So it just depends on. You put it on a wheel, a spinning wheel, and like whatever comes out, whoever gets it gets chosen gets chosen. That's it. So that day, boom. So those are the things that are going on that we're developing. We're really excited about that artifact thing because that's really an exciting thing, isn't it? So we're further developing that and incorporating it also into our land acquisitions as well, part of our LARPing program. And when people go out, they have a chance of finding an artifact. Okay, so that's exciting about this game as well. Alrighty, so I think that's it for now on that, and I'll be signing off and see you guys in a few hours if we come back, and we'll play some games. See you later.